Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a good weekend. Thought I'd do a quick video basically on a guy who's been spamming my inbox for like the last few months. Maybe you guys have been getting similar emails. It's from a guy called Lango. And so I looked him up a little bit, checked him out, and I found a couple interesting things that probably means that you might want to stay away from this guy. And so, first of all, he is associated with Investor Place. If you don't know about that, you can come and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. But basically, it's one of the oldest financial sites here. You can see it started in 1973 by a guy called Tom Phillips. They do detailed research about stock recommendations and crypto and all this kind of thing. So they're pretty interesting. They seem to be spamming though a lot. So I get emails from both this guy, Lango. Also, one of the other analysts on this page, let me show you, Louis Navier or something is his name. Let's see if he's here. We'll actually get them from all of these guys. So I get one from Louis Navier and Eric Fry as well. I'm not sure how I ended up on these guys' mailing list, but they seem to be totally spamming me into oblivion. So I thought I'd look into Luke at least today, and then go through some of the other guys. So Luke is an interesting character. If we go back to the little article I've written on one of my blogs. So I looked into his background a little bit, and it looks like he went to Caltech, which is pretty interesting. The weird thing is he also has a background as a basketball player, which is also a little odd, weird combination. And so it looks like he's got this typical background that you see like touted in these publications, where they have some sort of background in like on Wall Street, or in this case it was to do with a startup called Scoutables, where he's looking at things like flow management models that are based on player injury and performance data. So kind of combining his love of sports like basketball and his love of the financial world. So pretty interesting. This is him right here. He's also on Seeking Alpha, which he seems to be pretty well known and liked on there, at least from what I can tell. So again, like, he's coming up like he's a founding manager of some San Diego investment fund, quantitative analysis, behavioral economics, blah, blah, blah. So in the face of it, you get this really good impression that these guys are trustworthy, that they have some credibility. And of course, that's usually the whole idea behind these things, right, is to give you that impression. So I looked into a little bit of his investment ideas. They all tend to be around really hypey things. So again, this is a common theme that I see with all these hyped up investment newsletters, where they're trying to get that fear of missing out onto you, right? So they'll be talking about the newest, best, amazing thing that will get you interested and excited, and then you'll be worried that you miss out, like the FOMO, the whole fear of missing out thing. And so they always address things, you know, back in the day, you know, a few years ago, it was like 3D printing. They'd be talking about that. Crypto usually. Now it's AI, like, you know, you're going to miss out on the next meta type thing, you know. So it looks like his newsletters are based around that quite a bit. They're always based around like growth-focused opportunities, is what I'm trying to say, really. And so the idea here is they kind of put into your head that you might miss out on the next massive wealth-generating megatrend that's going to turn into the next Apple or Microsoft or whatnot. But they're always like really small micro-cap or small-cap companies that really probably have a really high chance of doing nothing. And usually these guys like Luke Lango will have like a really strong theme about them. Like they'll be like, oh, I love electric vehicles, and by 2040 everything is going to be electric. And if you don't get into the EV stocks right now, then you're going to be broke and homeless by the time, you know, 2040 comes along. So that's something that I see in his newsletter quite a bit. So he has a bunch of newsletters. So before I show you them though, let me show you the most worrying thing that I found about this guy. So I went on to this site called tipranks.com, and it rates basically these types of people. They put their different stocks, and then it all comes up like what the actual performance was. And look at this. So Luke Lango, Investor Place. Out of 14,750 financial bloggers, he rated 14,407, so pretty much the bottom. And same with the expert category here, 22,338 out of 22,770. Not only that though, is when the returns are calculated in the last year, you would have made minus 33%, which arguably is not so bad given the market's declined, right, by 30%-ish. But that's pretty bad, right, overall. And he only had a success rate of 22%, which again is pretty poor. So you can see the little box that popped up there. How often Luke Lango's recommendations were profitable? 22% of the time. Average return. This is the average profit one would make by following the buy and sell ratings of Luke Lango since January 2009. So not just this last year. Holding rates usually indicate closing a position. So essentially terrible is the answer. And so none of this is really stated obviously on Investor Place, the website. If we go into some of this stuff, you'll see just how annoying this type of service can be. So let's go to premium services. Here are the list of what they offer. Of course, they don't share the prices up front most of the times. I'm just going to go through. Here's one, Louis Navalier. I think I'm saying that right. Luke Lango's Breakout Trader. So let's just pick out the Breakout Trader by Luke Lango. There's literally dozens of services that he's involved with. Here's another one, Crypto Investor, the Ultimate Crypto. So let's just pick one at random. Why don't we just do the Breakout one above? So these sites always have the same theme. They always have dozens of these things, and they all ramp them, like just basically talk them up in massive long sales copy. And I'll show you that if we can click on here. And then they give you the deal of the century, right, where they give it to you for like $40 or something after making you think that it's worth hundreds of thousands. So they always do a video like this. I never watched the video. The fastest way to do it is you click on the video and then you go as if you're going to leave, and it'll come up. And this works on a lot of these different websites. It'll come up with this because they don't want you to go, right? So they want to say, okay, why don't you just read the transcript? So that's what you click on. A lot of these sites are the same, by the way. You'll find it it's probably quite a helpful little thing. So then you get this massive sales page, all this proof of blah, blah. You know, here we go, success rate, except this just isn't true because I just looked it up and it's not this at all. So I don't know what this is talking about. Maybe it's from years ago. But I just looked it up and it's definitely not that on tipranks.com. And so you look through all of this, you get the whole sales pitch. It's this really long copy where it's just non-stop, like really beat you up with all this information, just over and over and over, and this just goes on forever. Just keep going down. I'll get to the point, don't worry. It just keeps going down, just stats and numbers and ideas and all this just goes on and on. These types of sites really annoy me. You go all the way down. Okay, so we're getting towards the end here, and this is where you find out what the prices are. And so all the way down here you can see the price for Breakout Trader by Luke Lango is $2,149. But the only way to do it looks like you have to call the number. Let's see. Yeah, so for this particular one, oh, here's one. Subscribe now. Let's see what comes up. Congratulations, you're one step closer to becoming a charter member to Breakout Trader. You also receive a second. Here's everything you get immediately, all these bonuses. All this is typical sales tactics. And there you go, and there's the order form. Okay, cool, so this one actually has an order form. Anyway, so that's one of his services. I'm not going to go through it. There's no way I'm going to buy it, and I don't recommend that you do. Just for the simple fact that what they're stating in their copy about the TipRanks stuff doesn't match up with the actual TipRanks ratings right here for whatever reason. And so I'm going to look into this site, Investor's Place, a little bit more. We'll look into Luke a little bit more, and I'll also look into some of the other characters that are involved on Investor's Place. So people like the ones that are spamming my inbox, so Eric Fry and Louis, and see what else I can find on these guys, because at the moment I'm not that impressed. I'll see if there's any gems. Sometimes you find a golden nugget amongst a lot of nonsense, so you just never know. So I don't like to rule things out just based on a few things, but a big red flag for me right now is the fact that Luke Lango has a really bad rating on TipRanks, but he's being portrayed as if he is doing really well on the actual copy. Anyway, I'll leave a link to my full findings that will be updated as I go on my website here, and you guys can check it out and see what you think about this guy. I hope you have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.